Good evening, everyone. I'm Laura Schifrin. I will call the meeting to order of the Town Properties Committee at 5:04 p.m. on Tuesday, October 10th. I'll take a roll call vote of the members on Zoom first.
Julie Byers present.
John Hayes present.
Kevin Smith present.
And Laura Schifrin present. Number 3, review and approve meeting minutes, and they are of August 28th, sent to us via email prior to today. I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes of August 28th.
I'll second it.
Make a motion to approve the
You
minutes
can
of
make it.
August
Okay.
28th.
All right, so we have Vicki making the motion and Kevin seconding the motion to approve the minutes of August 28th. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll take a roll call vote starting with Zoom.
Julie Byers, yes.
John Hayes, yes.
Vicki Tidman, yes.
Kevin Smith, yes.
And Laura Schifrin, yes. Thank you very much. Additions or deletions to the agenda not foreseen 48 hours before. I do not have any. Do you have any?
I don't.
Okay, Jody's not in the room. Number 5, updates re special town meeting actions discussed 106 Haynes Road. I guess this is on the agenda to say that at the special town meeting, there were 3 properties voted. And Eric, you can correct me if I'm wrong, please. And that was 106 Haynes Road. 97 Main Street, right? Oh, that's the 3. Okay, sorry. 106 Haynes Road, 97 Main Street, and 46 Fitchburg Road were the 3 properties that were town-owned that were voted to go to auction. And then we also had a motion to start the sale process with 540 Main Street. Eric, do you want to add anything to that?
No, I think I just to let folks know, the 97 Main Street property, which is across the street from Harbor Road Body, has been owned by the town for a while. It was the property that spurred kind of the town's desire to go through this auction process. And at the time, we also are involved in litigation with the condo owners. The condominium trust for Pine Ridge regarding the town's taking a couple of years ago of the unit at Pine Ridge, and so we're trying to sell that one in an effort to settle that litigation. At the time, that one hadn't been put in front of town meeting, so we did put a few properties in front of town meeting. 97 Main Street was not actually this town meeting. It was an earlier town meeting. There were 4 properties at this town meeting. The Fitchburg Road condominium, the 106 Haynes, 540 Main Street, and then 182 Warren Road was the 4th property.
Okay, I was going by the list here. Yep.
That's more of a longer term contemplated divestment from the town.
So 182 Warren Road.
Yes.
Or the, okay.
No, we talked.
It seems 97.
Before us a couple of times.
Yeah. 97 Main Street's been before us a few times too. So I think now, well, I'll quickly do number 6, and then I'll get back to Melissa to kind of go through some of the questions we had at the last meeting, because I don't see the answers here, but I could be wrong. So number 6 is that Kevin Smith has been appointed as a Conservation Commission rep, which leaves now open the general member position and also the highway. I'd like to entertain a motion that would request of Jody to post the vacancy for the general member position. We had the highway there before, and Kevin originally was the general member rep until he went on to conservation, and then we thought that might be a better use of his position, because he offered and we totally accepted right away. So that's where we are on, okay, do I need a motion? Okay. So like I said, I'll entertain a motion to post the position for the general member now to fill a seat on this board committee.
It's Don Hayes. I'll make the motion that we request town clerk to post the properties committee opening.
Second?
I'm
I'll second.
sorry. Can you repeat that?
Which
I'm
part?
sorry.
Dawn was making his motion to post the vacancy.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay. And Julie seconded?
Yes, I did.
Oh, Vicky did.
Everybody did, yeah.
Everybody did. Okay. All right. In reference to that motion of posting, okay.
Well, let's do the
Before
vote on
discussion,
it.
wait a minute. Yeah. I think we have to have a motion to accept Kevin as the representative from the Conservation Commission, since it's the first time it's come to our agenda.
Okay, so I'll make a motion to accept Kevin Smith as representative for the Conservation Commission.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, and Vicky seconds it. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll take a roll call vote from Zoom, please.
Julie Byers, yes.
Don Hayes, yes.
Vicky Tidman, yes?
Kevin Smith, yes.
Laura Schiffern, yes. And thank you very much.
And just as a question and reference, does that need to also be on the Board of Selectmen to actually do the appointment?
I actually think it was already there. Eric, could you confirm that? It seems I heard that at a meeting. After conservation met.
I'll have to double check. I don't know that off the top of my head.
That's all. We're making the motion to do it, but I think the Board of Selectmen actually do the process of.
Yes, yes. And I actually think it was already done.
Okay.
So
So we're formalizing.
we'll do it again.
We can double check that with Sabrina.
Okay,
We'll double check that with
Sure.
Sabrina.
okay. So now we can finish we'll go back to the motion that was first and seconded to post the vacancy of the general member. No more discussion? I'll take a roll call vote. Zoom first, please.
Julie Byers, yes.
Don Hayes, yes.
Yes?
Kevin Smith, yes.
And Laura Schiffern, yes. Thank you all very much. Now, number 7, update from the treasurer tax collector, list of properties being taken. Melissa, the floor is yours.
Thank you. I'm actually going to defer to Eric for most of my part. Is your questions have to do with the auction itself, or how we got there, or the
No.
costs?
I don't, well, going back to the August 28th meeting minutes, I think the questions were, how much is owed on each of the properties that's going to auction? So in other words, taxes,
What's taxes? What is the tax
legal,
amount?
whatever. How much is owed on each of those properties?
Okay. So, I deeply apologize. I left everything at work and I don't even have an idea in front of me. I sincerely apologize. I didn't realize that was one of the questions. I thought it was the cost of auction, what it would take to go to auction and the legal fees. I didn't even, anyways, I don't have that in front of me. I can send it to you first thing in the morning. Eric, do you have that information? Like you set up the auction, went out to bid for the auctioneer. You kind of took the reins on the auction. Do you have an idea of those numbers when you talk to the auctioneer, how much they're going to start the bids at?
Yeah,
Did
so
you
there's a
get
couple of different pieces of information that we have. The first is we're in relation to the cost of the auction. This auctioneer is charging a 4% premium. So that is going to be the town is not going to pay anything for the auction. All the auctioneer's fees are going to be a part of as a buyer's premium.
Price? Okay.
Buyer's premium.
Yeah.
We are also adding I believe it's no, I didn't write this down. We're adding the legal fees also onto the as part of the buyer's costs.
Mhm.
So our attorney, who is working for the town, we're adding a fee for those attorney's fees to each unit that we're
And
selling.
that's not necessarily for this process or the transfer in this process, but for everything he's already cost us regarding that property.
No, this is just for the cost related to the auction. Everything else is something that we're going to have to recoup as part. I mean, that was just part of like the taxes, the attorney's fees disappeared into the value of the property. So that's how we would, that's what we would use to set our reserve would be.
The questions we were asking last month were how much of the taxes were due, what were the legal fees, and what was going to be like the total cost. Have appraisals been done?
No, we have not done appraisals.
Okay, well, we did discuss having appraisals done on properties for value, not just assessed values.
Go what they go.
Did the properties committee identify any funding sources for those appraisals? Because we don't have a funding source to do appraisals, unfortunately.
If we put a $5,000 line in the budget, and it was in the Board of Selectmen budget this for FY24.
Yeah, the next budget.
Yeah, which is current. It's kind of like it started July 1st.
Right,
Yeah, we're in
that's
24.
right. Yes, so there is.
Right. So
I don't remember the exact line, but there was a $5,000 line put in for items
Yes,
like.
I do remember that now.
I think
Okay, well, Kevin, Julie, does anybody else have any comments? Kevin, you can say what
Well,
you think.
I feel that spending all that money and having appraisals done is, I don't know, that's money well spent. The market's gonna demand what the property's gonna bring, these properties gonna bring. You know, they'll bring good money if there's something buildable there. If there's something there, if there's not, they're not gonna bring it. In the case of the condo, well, market value is gonna drop, it'll drop down from market value. Because I'm sure they're gonna have to have some work done on them and things like that, but the market's still there. There's still a demand for stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So I think if we, to waste money, what I would wanna know is what's the taxes owed on these parcels to give us an idea what the town's out. You know, that would be something I'd be more concerned with.
I think where some of this is coming from too is that, you know, you've got two active real estate agents on this committee. We see the market. We probably have a better feel of what the market is than anybody else right now.
So if I
And-
may, we can't keep any money that's above and beyond what is owed in taxes. So this is just a reminder of that.
that's Melissa. That's not correct. That's not correct, Melissa.
I haven't finished. I haven't finished.
Okay.
We can't keep it any profit, quote unquote, if the person who previously owned it, and now you can correct me, Eric, if the comes and says, hey, you made a profit on this, you need that money's mine. Weren't there some cases? No?
No, that you're thinking about tax liens as opposed to these are not tax
okay.
liens. If it's a tax lien, we can only get our money back, but we foreclosed on these, so we own them free and clear, so we get everything.
That's money going back into the town's coffers.
But
Learning
in
curve, sorry.
order for us to get those properties, it cost us money to get those
It's
properties.
cost us a lot of money.
So, I think what we discussed before was I was what's part of our package here today is the Town of Townsend Tax Possession Auction Terms and Conditions. And as chair, I decided I was going to read that, so it would be in the record and also on the for the public to see on YouTube afterwards. 1, the Town of Townsend, its custodian, employees, representatives, auctioneer, and/or agents may make no representations as to the insurability or marketability of the title other than the title vests in the town of Townsend by land court decree of foreclosure. 2, these parcels are sold as is. The Town of Townsend, its custodian, employees, representatives, auctioneer, and/or agents make no representations as to or whether or not these parcels are suitable for your intended use and make no representations as to the condition and/or habitability of any structure or building that currently exists on the premises. Prospective purchasers are responsible for investigating the suitability of these parcels for its intended use prior to the auction. And I believe all of them are a building or structure. These parcels are sold subject to any existing environmental or hazardous waste conditions, if any, including but not limited to lead paint, asbestos, underground oil tanks, and/or mold, whether in or at the properties, which may or may not be in compliance with any applicable laws, policies, or regulations. 4, these parcels are sold subject to any applicable septic disposal system inspections upgrade requirements as set forth in the Department of Environmental Protection's Title V. So question, these parcels are sold subject to any. How is that interpreted, subject to any? Is it, usually when you say subject to, Julie, help me out here. Well, Eric should be able to too. Is that a contingency? Usually subject to is used in a contingency.
So,
Well, it's just, sorry, go ahead, Eric.
no, go ahead. You probably know better than me.
No, I was just going to say in this context, basically, if the parcel has a septic system on it, it's subject to whatever the state's laws are on that septic system. And it quotes, 310 CMR section 15.301F.
Yeah, so is that going to be, and it doesn't matter if it's the buyer or the seller that does the inspection or provides it?
Well,
Correct?
for Title V, it could be either buyers
Yeah.
or sellers could do it, but typically it's the seller. But you can have the buyer do it. That can be the
Yeah.
condition.
Yeah. Well, that was just an update in CE last week,
Yeah.
because
Okay.
typically it was the seller, but apparently it is not required to be the seller.
Yep.
5, any error, misstatement, or omission in the description of the properties will not annul the sale or be grounds for any abatement or compensation. That was good. 6, the following persons will not qualify to be successful bidder. 1, the prior owner of the property and/or his or her agent or straw. 2, any person or entity that was party to the foreclosure auction pertaining to the property. And 3, any person currently delinquent in paying his or her own property taxes and/or taxes or charges owed to the Town of Townsend. That was also something we discussed many years ago. 7, the successful buyer will be required to 1, sign and file a disclosure statement pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 7C, 38, formerly Mass General Law, C 740J, giving the names and addresses of all persons who will have a beneficial interest in the property with the Commissioner of Capital Asset Management and Maintenance, and 2, sign under the penalties of perjury an affidavit indicating that no one who would gain equity in the property has been convicted of a crime involving the willful and malicious setting of a fire, or of aiding, counseling, or procuring the willful and malicious setting of a fire, or of a crime involving the fraudulent filing of a claim for fire insurance. 8, the balance of the contract sales price of buyer's premium of 4% pro forma taxes to be calculated pursuant to, and just to clarify, pro forma taxes. What does that mean? How does that, I mean, I'm reading this so that the public can know what we go through and what the requirements are. So, a buyer's premium 4% pro forma taxes. What does pro forma taxes mean? To be
Well, for me,
calculated.
I don't. So for me, I don't know. These were prepared by Iris Leahy, our lawyer. So that's I can ask her.
Okay.
So yeah,
Eric?
my understanding is that during auctions like this, you have to prepay a portion of the taxes to show that you're able to pay the taxes as a part of the sale.
Going
So
forward.
in other words,
Oh,
the annual taxes owed on the property, you have to come in not only with the purchase price, but also taxes, real estate taxes for the property.
So pro forma would mean that we wouldn't actually know what they are because wouldn't have a tax rate.
Well, true.
Yeah.
So you're just gonna, you're gonna come in, and you're gonna pay $500 on, towards the next quarter's insurance or something like that.
Taxes.
Taxes, I'm sorry. Yes.
Okay. So, okay, the calculation is pursuant to Mass General Law 4463A. A processing fee of $900 and the deed recording fee of $155 all must be paid by certified funds within 30 days of the auction. Failure to pay the remainder of the balance within 30 days will result in the forfeiture of the deposit to the town of Townsend, and the sale may be made to a second highest bidder. What it doesn't say in here, normally it's a $5,000 deposit, right? You have to have a bank check. For
That's number 10.
$5,000.
Number 10.
Oh, sorry, got ahead of myself. You should know I'm thinking. All right, so we did 8. 9, the custodian reserves the right to reject any bid at the auction or any adjournment thereof, which, in her opinion, does not approximate the fair market value of the property. Okay. 10, a deposit via bank check in the amount of $5,000 may be payable to the town of Townsend is required to register to bid at an auction. Visit sullivanauctioneers.com for more details. The successful bidder's deposit will be held by the town as a non-refundable deposit on the sale, which shall be forfeited to the town as liquidated damages in the event the high bidder fails to comply with the terms and conditions of the sale and or is in default thereof.
Is that, it's not cash or certified check?
It's a bank check. Well, the bank check is,
Yeah, no, I'm.
yeah, not cash.
So it's not cash.
No, it's not cash.
Oh.
Can't come with your piggy bank or to the auction.
So
So,
do we have to figure out what the reserve should be, to go along with number 9, which is, if it's not the fair market value? Do we have to figure out what that is and have that be the reserve for these parcels?
yeah, Eric, do you know, well, I guess we don't as this committee, but it's a good question. What the date is?
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
date of the auction is October 27th at noon.
Oh, yeah, right there. Sorry. I didn't read that one. These are the properties on okay, so Friday, October 27th at 12 p.m. at the town hall. So it's not even at the properties.
That's correct.
And where do they do it at the town hall? Is it the front steps or is it the
The Great Hall.
Great Hall?
Either that or the Board of Selectmen's chambers.
Okay, because it doesn't say that here. Okay. And obviously it has to be an in-person auction.
Yes.
Or would it have to be an in-person auction if you were pre-registering and you had to have your deposit in order to bid?
So I haven't talked to the auctioneer about setting up some sort of online portal, but they're the ones who do this all the time. So I can
Yeah.
certainly ask them if that's something that they could facilitate.
Yeah, because that's what HomePath has. They're all online. Their auctions are all online and the bidding's online. And you do have to register beforehand.
Sure.
That would be
I'll certainly ask them
interesting
about that. It's not a bad idea to at least have that option.
to know. Yeah, okay. I mean, the more the merrier, right?
Yeah. The more bodies we get bidding, the better it is for the town, as far as I'm concerned.
I don't know how that works, because I've done a lot of HomePath, and I don't know about that it's any different than us doing Zoom, actually. Because you're gonna, the auctioneer in taking the deposits, it'll be the same kind of registration as you would do on HomePath. No difference. You don't, I know. But I have to have all the options out there. That's why this is a public meeting, okay?
Laurie, if I may, just go back to
Yeah.
Julie's question. So I think our thought process for the reserves was to identify the amount of the amount of debt that the town has with respect to that property and set that as the reserve. So in other words, if 106 Haynes has $50,000 in tax debt that we took the property for, plus $10,000 in attorney's fees, then we would set the reserve of that property at $60,000 because that's the amount that it would take to make the town whole.
Okay.
And if we get more than that, that's great. I anticipate that property is going to go for more than that, but we want to make sure that that reserve is set at the amount to make the town whole, unless that amount is not reasonable in the eyes of the auctioneer. We'll talk to them about it, but I don't think any of these have exorbitant amounts of taxes that were owed that would be over the fair market value of the properties.
Okay. I just saw that date. I would have liked to have seen that, but I won't be here. All right. Any other questions from the board? No?
None.
Don, no? Julie, no?
My only question, we're getting ready to sell them, and that's good. But when I went out and looked at the properties, 97 Main Street is damaged and is open. The bathroom door is smashed in. Other parts of it are falling apart. Haynes Road, this front window is damaged and put in. The trailer that's on site is open and there's a lot of, and I understand we're selling them as is. I just wonder if we have liability to the town if anybody is injured on them while we still own them.
Not as soon as we sell them, we don't.
Right. So we're getting close. So maybe this is not for these properties, but other properties. That's something we might want to consider watching. It's kind of like, because these are in distressed condition and people could
Right.
get hurt or injured at them.
Yeah, I think what may be the best process going forward is for us to identify properties that might have some sort of these defects that the town owns and post them no trespassing.
Post, absolutely. That's what I was gonna say.
Right.
Post
Yep.
them legally.
So I thought 182 Main Street was also, excuse me, 182 Warren Road was also approved to sell
It
at
is.
the special town meeting,
It is.
It was, that's correct.
but it's not on the list.
That's correct. It's not on the auction.
It's not on the auction
You're right,
list.
you're right.
Right, we're not auctioning that one because the last time the Board of Selectmen discussed this, the plan for 182 Warren Road was a little bit more challenging in that they had contemplated subdividing the property, selling the back portion of the land to Fish and Wildlife, and then selling the front portion of the property, saving 3 acres of the front portion to for a residential parcel. That would involve, unfortunately, us getting someone out there to do a survey and do an A&R in front of the for the planning board to subdivide it and then proceed with that sale. There was also a discussion, I don't know what the board's thought about it is, about contacting like a Habitat for Humanity or some other entity to purchase that parcel or for us to sell it to them for $1 or something, to build what would be affordable housing unit on the
Kevin
property.
made a good point
The property has got to be deemed buildable
to do that.
before that, and it's a questionable parcel of property at this point today.
Yeah, I know that there is a structure on it, but I have not been to the property, so I don't know I've heard that it's in bad shape.
There's a lot of
Oh, yeah.
wetlands. There's a lot of
There's a lot of
wetlands. There's some
wetlands
issues.
too.
There's some issues on that property that.
Yeah. Well, I think that was the reason why cutting off the back part was the plan, because I believe the majority of the wetlands are in the rear. The back, it's 11 acres, but the wetlands would be in the rear that we would subdivide off and tell to the state.
Oh, the frontage has the wetlands.
It's. I think before I travel down that
Yeah,
path, or before the town travels down that path, I probably want to get in touch with the civil engineer, go out and note the wet and see what's there. If there is in fact it is deemed that there is a buildable lot on the front portion, but what happens if the buildable lot is in the back portion and we've carved a piece off and sell it to the state? I think an engineer should be brought into that equation, and maybe some of that $5,000 that the town has set in a budget to do this kind of stuff maybe should be sent to maybe we should get in contact with an engineer and make those decisions, let them help the town, help the boards make that decision before it goes to select.
Sure. No, that's not a bad idea. We can certainly even maybe have the conservation agent go out and see if there's any identifiable wetlands on the parcel. But
Right.
I guess to circle back to Laurie's comment, this is a more complicated issue than we think some of these other parcels are, which is why it's not on the auction.
Okay.
Thank you.
And I think you're right, Eric. I think conservation should go out first because they're the most knowledgeable about the wetlands.
Plus, we
And
don't have to
then-
pay them extra.
We don't have to pay them extra.
No.
Then once you hear what they have to say, decide whether or not an engineer should go out.
Absolutely.
I think, yeah, I 100% agree with you. We kind of put that parcel on the back burner because of the complicated nature of what had been discussed about it. So,
Right.
but I think those are very good suggestions.
Right.
Thank you.
I mean, originally we've said it for years. The only people that it's good for are really the abutters.
Well, if that's the case.
Yeah.
My suggestion earlier was if that was and he's got a good point. The piece juts way out into the woods. You got an abutter on each side. If it's deemed unbuildable or undevelopable or anything like that, yeah, you might want to square that piece off. And if the back juts into where the state's got, carve it off, sell them a little bit. Maybe you can make an arrangement with the two people out front, split it in half, sell them each some of it for a small fee, and it puts it back into the tax rolls.
Right.
Because if it goes into the state,
It
as
doesn't.
far as some fish and wildlife, but I think that piece is fish and wildlife. It's really not going to do much to benefit the town down the road.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I think that determination about the buildability of the front portion of the parcel is something we need to decide.
Determined.
We need to determine, yes.
Correct.
Sorry, I'm gonna need to break in. I gotta go. I had the 5:30 meeting and I'm late to get into
Okay, thank you, Donna. But did you want to make another comment on any of the other properties on Melissa's report?
No,
Or should I-
well, um, I did look at 25 Adams Road, and it has a trailer on it, and it has some of the same property, so problems as the other. There's a lot of waste in there. There's dishwashers that have been dumped, TVs that have been dumped. So as we take it, I don't know if it's something the Board of Health should look at before, as far as cleaning up. But again, that's going to get to our no trespassing as we go.
Town should post that property those properties when we take them. Post them legally, and then the
Okay, these
police
are not
department,
taken
yeah,
yet.
it's not taken as of this point, but
Okay,
I agree that they should be posted immediately upon the town taking them. And post them legally every 50 or 100 or whatever they're supposed to be posted around their entire perimeter.
so Melissa, thank you very much for this report. And if you could get us the figures on what is owed by these properties,
Yeah,
and-
I'll send them out to you
whatever.
guys tomorrow morning. I'm sorry I didn't have them for tonight.
Okay, and then as far as
sorry.
the other ones go, you could give us an update of monies due, like at our next meeting, because these haven't been taken yet,
Correct. Yeah, right.
okay? And we can
Yes.
now work with these to discuss what to do with them, okay?
Absolutely.
Anything else, Eric?
Yes, ma'am?
Anything else that you would like from us,
No,
other
just
than what we've
let
discussed?
everybody know about the auction. The more people that we tell about it, I think the better it'll be for the town.
Okay, so that is it's Friday, October 27th at noon at Town Hall,
Correct.
for these three properties to be auctioned. And Eric, you will look into a Zoom option.
I'll
Since
check with the
regis-
auctioneer to see if they have an online ability to run part of the auction online. Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Next meeting then?
Thanks, everybody. Have a good one.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everyone.
How about, when do we have to meet for assessors?
Where are we right now?
Well, we're the 10th of October. I'm thinking after the auction.
Yeah, mid-November would be good because then we can sign off on any of the stuff that we need in Gateway, and hopefully we'll have these both certified by then.
Yeah, that was just a copy of the letter that, conservation did appoint you. Um, um, what about the 14th? Would the 14th work? That'll be a couple weeks after the auction and mid-month and not right before Thanksgiving.
Madam Chair, if I might.
Yes,
November 14th is the tentative town meeting scheduled.
Well, that's okay. We're earlier than town meeting.
we can do 4:30 and 5 again.
35 o'clock.
Can we do 4:30 and 5 again?
There's a
Dave?
FinCom meeting at 5:30 and a Selectmen's meeting at 6 o'clock. It would have to be much earlier than 5:30.
No, Monday.
Okay. Do you know if we have a planning board meeting on
On the
November
13th,
14th.
yes, you do,
on the 13th?
correct. At 7:30.
7:30?
I know that's an unusual time for that meeting, but that's what I've got on the calendar.
Okay. Julie, can you do Monday the 13th?
Yeah,
Why don't we shoot for Monday the 13th at 5 o'clock? And we'll try for assessors at 4:30 for any business there. Okay, then I will now entertain a motion to adjourn at 5:45 PM.
I'll make a motion to adjourn at the Townsend Property Committee meeting at 5:45 PM.
One second.
Okay, well, we still have a quorum, so I'll take a roll call vote,
Julie Byers, yes.
Vicky Pittman, yes?
and Laura Schifrin, yes.